Alright guys, check it out. This is part 6, the lighting and rendering tutorial. Now what I'm going to do, um, my Camtasia had crashed on me. Actually the audio had messed up a couple times, and so this is, a repeat. What I'm going to do is show you a couple different ways to light this. I know I told everybody to light their scenes with V-Ray and install that earlier. I'm going to show you a technique that you can use with V-Ray lighting techniques. But are also useful for mental ray or something like that. I'm not going to go over mental ray settings or anything, but the lighting scene or the lighting setup that I'm going to use is very mental ray friendly because it uses a lot of Omni lights. So the first thing what I'm going to do is go to rendering, render, and if you haven't already, go to assign render, and in the production little clicker right here, assign V-Ray. Go to renderer, working our way down, frame buffer, built-in frame buffer, get resolution from max. I'm going to change this to 480 by 360 just because I'm not looking for a high quality image, and I want the smallest possible area for me to render this out. I don't want it to take a long time, so don't do this. Alright, click something higher. If you're going to go low, 640 by 480 is as low as you should go. Global switches, I'm going to turn off default lights from max. In my anti-aliasing filter, I'm going to use Catmull ROM. Indirect illumination, we'll leave this blank for now, and what we'll do is we'll just do a render, and I'll show you as we turn it on. You get nothing but this little light from the lamp right there, since that's the only light that's coming from the room. What we want to do, though, is get the environment light to come on in and light our interior. So with that, we have to do what's called GI, or global illumination. We'll turn that on, and we'll leave everything as is right there, and we'll hit render. And you see this prepass 1 of 4, prepass 2 of 4 taking forever, and we'll hit cancel. And as soon as we turned that GI on, it enabled these two engines. Our two GI engines, our primary bounce engine and our secondary bounce engine. When it did that, it gave us a new tab called irradiance map for our primary bounces, and you see it's already set to high. So let's lower that for all these tests. The subdivisions are default 50, but work just as good on 30. Sometimes I'll bump it up to 35 and leave it there. It works. Show calculation phase, that way we can see everything as it's happening. And if we hit render this time, nothing's happening. Why? Probably because we don't have anything in the scene. What we're going to do, since we do have this on, we'll come over here to environment. We unclicked the max default light, so we need some lighting. Click on the GI environment skylight override. We'll leave it on blue for now, and say let's bump it up to 4 just to give some light. We'll hit render, and now we're starting to see something. It's because that environment light is coming in through this window and lighting our scene. And it will take a few seconds, but now we can see something. Pretty dark, pretty scary, pretty freaky. What we're going to do now is create an ambient light, and what an ambient light is to set the mood between our primary light and our secondary light. Our primary light would be anything on the interior, secondary would be what's coming from the outside, such as environment lighting, which would be bluish from the sky, or yellow from the sun, or whatever like that, mixed with whatever fluorescent lights we have inside, or colors. In this case, we only have one light, which really isn't acting as much, but everything else is the color. So we have yellow and red, which I will go mostly with the red color, which would mix with sunlight coming in, which is yellow. So if you mix red and yellow, you get an orange color. That would be ambient. So I'm going to come over here to our lights and click on Omni and create one in the center of the room. Right click to end it, go to your move tool and bring it up to the center. What we're going to do is go to our modify tab. Don't worry about shadows. Go to the intensity, leave it at 1, and set this at an orangish color. Not too orange, but kind of, orangish. Sherbet, if you will. Far attenuation we're going to use, but what we're going to do is kind of get the start attenuation inside our room using the scale tool and scale it on the inside. and this being the outside means it's going to be the brightest here and work its way out and die off here. And we'll have it die off just outside of the interior, like so. Most importantly, go to Advanced Effects and click on Ambient Light. And if we click Render, it's going to blow up right here. It's going to add more light into the room, but remember we're doing ambient light and not necessarily working with just the ambient light. We don't want the ambient light to light the whole interior. We just want it to add a little bit of nuance to the room. And right now you see it's blown up. It's counting on this little sherbet color to light everything. So what I'm going to do is X out of that, go into my rendering tab again, and down here where it says color mapping, instead of it being a linear multiply, which was basically the nuclear effect that we're getting, we're going to set it to exponential so that it will evenly spread the light throughout the room. If we hit render on that, you can already tell that it's died off in just a little sample scene that we're seeing right here in the pre-pass. And if I'm going too fast, that's okay, because this is, I want to show you two ways of lighting something. And there we go. Not too bad. Now, we could fix some of the materials right quick. We see that this is a little bit plastic looking, a little fake, too much glossiness. There's no reflections in the gloss on the floor, so let's fix that also. This is kind of dull right here. So go to the material editor. First things first, we'll do the floor. Click on the material, and beside reflect, there's this little box right here. Click it and go to fall off. Change the fall off type to a Fresnel reflection, and click the white right here and bring it up a little bit. Say 40 is good. Alright, get out of that. What we're going to do is change the multiplier of the lamp. Let's just bump it up to not 45. Wow. Let's go up to 4. And the black furniture, let's go ahead and where it says highlight glossiness, let's click this L right here so that deactivates that highlight glossiness. Now you see it's really sharp. We'll start blurring the reflections, give it that soft and fuzzy little feeling. It's kind of the way real life shadowing and reflections look anyway on furniture. Get that fuzziness going. And where it says 37, let's just take it down to 30. Give it a little more black effect. So we did those three things. Let's see what that does in here. Should make the furniture a little bit darker and a little less plastic, I guess. I don't know what that look is. Not fun. Okay, it worked a little bit better. It's a little bit brighter right there. We could actually put an Omni in here and worry about that. See reflections right here, but not too bad. A little reflection right there, a little reflection right there. Another thing to note would be shadows. In photorealistic anything, you would need shadows. Well, if you look here, you got all these shadows right here, but you have none underneath the table. So let's fix that by using indirect lighting. To get indirect lighting, we'll come over here to Free Direct, click it in the middle, probably over here where we need it, where this coffee table is. Right click to end that and bring it up to the ceiling. Go to our Modify tab, click on Shadows for Shadow Map. Intensity, we don't want it to be bright at all. Actually 0.1 is fine. And make it black. We want no light. We're actually using this as a shadow caster instead of a regular light. Go to directional parameters and change it to rectangle. The shadow map parameters, I'm going to change the sample range up to 35. The color of the shadow should be lighter, not too dark. And the density, if we have this 1 and above, what that's going to do is create light. If it's below 1, if it's in the negatives, it's going to create shadows. So if I leave it on 1 right quick, and actually let me scale this so that it's not going through the floorboard. Bring that up some. If we go ahead and render this, what it should do is be kind of lit underneath here. We'll give it a little 20 seconds for it to run. I would pause it, but every time I pause it, the audio doesn't sync back up. I don't know what's going on with it tonight. And as you see, it's kind of lit under here now. And we don't want that. We want it to be opposite. So we'll cancel that and we'll make it really dense. We'll say -3 to start. And let's render that. And it should be very, very, very dark underneath this coffee table now. Also, to mention that if you change from using that second engine from Quasi Monte Carlo to Light Cache, it will probably crash your system. I don't know why yet. I haven't really looked into it, but I do know that will happen. And you see it's very, very, very dark right here. So if I change this down to -1 and hit render, it will lighten it up a little more, but it will still create that shadow that we're looking for. And this can be used to cast shadows on the wall or on the floor somewhere else of any object that's not casting a shadow that needs to. And you see it is dark under there now, giving a little shadow, but not too much. Alright, cool. So we have that. What we can do is create another Omni at the window part right here. Make sure you get your move tool and bring it up to where the window is. The intensity, let's bring it up to 3. Let's change it to like the sky. Wow, not that insane. Bring it down to like a whitish blue. We're going to use far attenuation again. Good thing about Omnis is that whole thing. Bring it into where it's at the window and then have it fill through the room. And make it ambient lighting. We could use diffuse and specular and give it shadows, but I want to do ambient for the meantime and see if that does anything insane to our room. It might not. I'm sure it'll light it up some. It should light up this corner at least by where the window would be. So it's not so dark over here anymore like it was. It really brightens up this room a bit too much. You see it's got that over here now. So what I'll do is I'll lower the attenuation on that so it doesn't go all the way through the room, just to right here. And we'll take the brightness down to, let's give it 1.5. Should be good. Let's see, what else? We can put sunlight in here. Use a target direct. Come in here like so. Right click to end the tool and bring it up in the air like so. Like that. To our modify tab, we're going to do V-Ray shadows, intensity. I set it to 3. Take it, the sun is not blue, last time I checked. Make it like a soft yellow, not annoying. Just bring it down to where it's yellowish white cream. Don't worry about the attenuation. The directional parameters, set it back to circle like the sun is. And the hot spot, let's go ahead and bring it up because the sunlight would be hitting, everything as soon as it hits that window. Smooth surface shadows, we could do area, but let's just leave it and see what that looks like for now. Click that. La 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 la. Feel free to hum to yourself during these parts. Okay, not too shabby. We got this crazy yellow glow over here. Don't really like that. But we could have it play to our advantage if we wanted to. Bring that over like so instead. Since this has got sunlight coming to it, I want to act as though the sunlight, it's bouncing off of this yellow wall and is going to almost have it kind of illuminate as well. The best way to do that is to create another Omni light outside of the wall and use it as an ambient light again. So create an Omni light outside the 45 degree, like outside, not inside, outside. Bring it up. No shadows. Intensity We'll just make it 1. We'll make it the same color as this wall. So let's bring up our material editor. Come over here to where it says corner wall. Click on the color 209, 143, 0. So come over here, 209, 143, and 0. Click on far attenuation. We'll use it, but we don't want it to go all the way through the building. We just want it to glow on the back side of it. And bring that in as well. You can scale it to fit the entire wall if you'd like to. And make it ambient. Also where the sunlight would be hitting over here, let's create another Omni light on the floor where it was hitting. You can leave it in the floor like that if you want to. Intensity was 1. We can make that the same color as the sunlight hitting it. Attenuation, we'll leave that, that's fine. We can use diffuse and specular, or we can use ambient. It's really up to you. It's your eye. Let's render that. So you see there's a lot of lights that are being used in this. This actually works really well with mental ray. And it doesn't work too bad with V-Ray. It's just a lot more tweaking, a lot more stuff that you gotta do. So it isn't too bad. You got this sunlight in here, but I'd like it to be a little bit more sunny or a little brighter. So what I'm gonna do, just for some kicks, is create a V-Ray light in the window. So click V-Ray light, come over where that window is, and create that. Right click to end it. Instead of getting the rotate tool out and doing all that stuff, let's go to mirror with no clone and mirror it on the y-axis. That way it's facing inside. The move tool up and put it inside the window. Go over to your modify tab. Let's give it a multiplier of 7. Why not? Make it the sunlight color, since we do have some blue coming in already. Make it invisible, otherwise that sunlight is going to hit it and make it look, it's going to cast a shadow of the V-Ray light. The subdivisions, let's bump it up to 16. The higher the subdivisions, the less noise and crackle and all that splotchy stuff we'll see. Let's go ahead and render that and see what happens. This room would be a lot better with more stuff in it, so feel free to change the colors, add some vases, add some books, add some glassware, you know, make it your own. I would never have these colors in my house. That's just insane. See, even now we're getting there. It's not too bad. And a little post work in Photoshop would be good. If we wanted to, we could actually brighten this up a lot more. Let me show you how that's working. With the V-Ray light material, we had it to 4. Let's say we did accidentally set it to 40. Watch what happens, because I did hit it at 45 that one time, if you remember. And I was like, no, not 45. Let's just see what happens if we do set it to 40. First of all, it's going to slow the render time down, because it's going to have to process that light. It's going to totally blow out that side. That light's going to be so bright. It's either going to look really good or really bad. And you see that it is slowing the render time down. The more light you add, that's what you're going to have to deal with. Rendering is a balance between trying to get it right and get the quality up while keeping the render time down. It's just, boy, it's hard. And see, it looks really, really bad. It gives it that insane burned out effect right there. So what we'll do is we'll go into the material editor, we'll lower that back down to 4. Okay, and what we can do for an end on this way is to get an Omni light, set it inside the lamp. Right click to end and bring it up inside the lamp so it fits in there. Intensity and multiplier, we can leave it set to, let's go 2. Make it a little wider. Far attenuation, we'll leave it just the way it is from the way it was before and set it to ambient. Render one more time. And we'll call this way of lighting done for now. And I'll show you the other way to do it. And I'm going to fly through the other one. And we're actually just going to worry about like 2 lights. We're going to light it with 2 lights in a different render engine. Secondary, that is. So as you see, you can get a lot of cool results. This doesn't look bad. I mean, it doesn't look, great or anything, but it doesn't look necessarily bad either. And there's still a lot more tweaking that you can do. But it does look pretty okay. And add more stuff in here, get a little more brightness to the room, and you may just have something pretty good. But let me go ahead and save this at. I'm going to save it out as a TIFF. I'm going to call it Omni test. I'll just save it to my desktop so I can find it. Okay. And I'll save as Omni test. Now I'm going to open this one back up, and we're going to light it a totally different way. This way, I'm going to fly through. I'm going to renderer. Go ahead, since I'm right here, set this to Catmull ROM. V-Ray frame buffer. I'm going to set that back down to 480 by 360 again, just for me. Indirect illumination on. I'm going to go ahead and set up my primary balances to be in 1.5. I'm going to lower my saturation down to 0.5. I'm going to change my secondary engine to light cache. I'm going to come over to light cache. I'm going to leave the subdivisions the way they are, but I'm going to click show calculation phase. Sometimes I forget to click this and I never see what's happening. Go back up to irradiance map, click on low so I can get a quicker render time. Show calculation phase, bump this down to 35. Come over to my environment light. I'm going to take it down to white. And yeah, white. I'm going to blow this up to 10. Color mapping, I'm going to go from linear multiply to exponential. I'm actually going to make the dark multiplier 1.2 and the bright multiplier about 1.0. I'm going to leave it that way for now. My system, I'm going to change my region sequence from triangulation to Hilbert curve. It's what I usually use on most of my stuff. I'm not even hitting render yet. I already know what's going to happen. Alright, hit render. Blown out, totally insane, just looking god awful nasty. Alright, what you want to do is you don't want to destroy your scene with this right here. You got to turn off Max's default lights. If you don't, that's what happens. So that was me. So I turned that off. It's going to be blown up. I'm using that environment light to do everything. So it's going to look massive. Go ahead and cancel that out right quick because I already know better. We'll go to, I'm going to do 7 on that in this color mapping. I'll leave the dark multiplier that way and I'll hit render. Lower that some. I'm going to show you what light cache does though. Those primary balances are just going everywhere. But this won't look that bad. It won't look that great, but it won't look that bad either. Render time's a little more because it's got to calculate that light cache. Be careful how you use Omni lights and everything like that when you're using light cache also, because it will it'll cause a little unhappiness. And you see, that doesn't look too bad already. You know, we got your shadows in here already. Kind of a little darker under here. Not bad. We'll go ahead in here, and I'm going to create my V-Ray light in the window, kind of like we did before. Right click. I'm going to mirror it because it's going the wrong way. I think it is. Okay, and there we go. Bring that into, where is it? Did I take it outside? Yeah. Bring it inside like so. I'm going to 7. Yeah, sure, why not? I think it's remembering what I did from the last little vid. I should have hit reset, but okay, that's good. Do that right quick before I do anything. I'm going to change those materials one more time. I'm going to get my reflection fall off in there. Change to Fresnel. Get this up to about 3.2. And I'm going to change this to 0.6 and a little blacker. And we'll hit render. This is relying on 2 lights basically. The light from the V-Ray light in the window and also the environment GI. Now we could go in here and I could tweak all day. I mean, we could sit here and cut up and joke and laugh and have festive, wonderful dances of render time joy. But we're not going to. But you see, just by tweaking settings, messing with numbers and stuff, you can get all kinds of different things. And this little render right here is relying on 2 lights, environment light and a V-Ray light. That's it. Don't even count that lamp in the corner. And it's already looking good, you know. I mean, it doesn't look bad. We could even bump up that environment light. I can guarantee you, we can bump up that environment light a little more. Add a sunlight, and we'd be, I wouldn't say done, but, you know, not too shabby. Let's go 8.5 on that. Let's go back to the bluish of the environment light. Let's come on the outside here and add that sunlight. Target direct. Sometimes these crash my Mac, sometimes they don't. Sometimes you feel like a nut. Actually, all the time I feel like a nut. Alright, and like I said, sometimes this will crash Mac, sometimes it won't. So let's hope this time it doesn't. If it does, consider us done. But if it doesn't, then we're good to go. Leave that at 2. I'm actually going to give that the sunlight color also. Circle, it's pretty much shooting. It's kicking butt. Make sure it's not on that, so let's do it. And it didn't crash it. Can't beat that. I probably could have used a little bit of more soft shadows on my V-Ray light. Not my V-Ray light, I'm sorry, my sunlight. I don't like it when it's so crisp, it looks like it's been taped on the floor as a light. I like it when it's got softer shadows, but I'm going to leave this right here, and we're going to call this a couple ways that you can light. And it's really just tweaking, guys. I mean, that's all you got to do. I mean, I see a million different posts on forums and people saying, I need help with V-Ray, or can somebody lend me a V-Ray lighting tutorial? Why don't you Google it? I mean, that's what I did when I started. I didn't go on forums saying, hey, V-Ray help, please. Why is it doing this? I did like one time and people said Google it. So I'm telling you what people told me. If you got a problem, Google. It's like right there. I can Google right now and find a million different V-Ray lighting tutorials. So if you have problems, feel free to ask in the forums of 3dpalace.com. A lot of people there can help, and I will be around and I can help you out as well. So that's another way to do it. So let's call this one a TIFF or a Targa. Hell, it doesn't matter. Call this LC for light cache and save it. And what we'll do is we'll open it up in Photoshop. Open, look at my documents. We'll go and we'll just I'll just show you. Bring the Omni test in, and we can fix stuff. You know, we can go to adjustments and levels and kind of mess with these levels and get it like a little brighter right there. But bring in the shadows, that area right there. It's kind of like contrast and highlights is what we're messing with. You can do it with the brightness and contrast actually. Come in here and lighten up like so. Take the contrast down a little bit. Kind of play with it by eye, you know what I'm saying? Go to the photo filter. I like to use that. It sets this nice little warmth on here. Like you can cool it down if you want to, but I don't suggest doing that, not in this scene. Kind of lower that some, you know, like that. Sharpen it up some. Smart sharpen, you know, 82%, and then we go. There's that. We can bring in the LC, do kind of the same thing. Adjustments, levels, and just play around and mess with this stuff. Don't be scared of post-production and doing things. It's not going to hurt you. I don't know Photoshop at all, you know, I come in here and goof with it. And sometimes you can get lucky, and sometimes you get some piss poor excuse for a render. Sometimes you can save it in Photoshop and fix it all, make it look great. Sometimes you can't. Do a normal sharpen right there and do that. So you can see there's different ways that we can do this. There's doing the omnis and the shadows and all that. You know, doesn't look too bad. And the omnis right here and the glow in there kind of works out. Then we have this. So, my friends, that ends this tutorial. Thank goodness, huh? You made it. Hopefully you made this room your own. Like I said, if you have any questions, just go to 3dpalace.com and ask away. There's a lot of awesome people on there that'll help you out. I hope you learned something. Like I said, make this your own. Put your own stuff in it. Go crazy. Go nuts with it. I'd like to see some of your own interiors like this using some of these methods. If you see anything that you could have done faster, do it that way. You know, I just do what I do, and some of these things I wouldn't have done that way, but I did it to try to slow it down and teach some people some things. So I hoped those who didn't know something learned something, and those who knew it already, I hope you got a laugh out of it. So I enjoyed this tutorial and doing it, and I hope to come up with another one soon, something similar, maybe a little better. But you guys take care, and I'll see you on 3dpalace.com. This is Dreams in 3D, and I'll talk to you later.